Hello everyone, welcome to chapter 20, which involves Amazon Relational Database or AWS RDS. And for this chapter, we're gonna move the PostgreSQL to a live server, which is provided by Amazon. So this chapter, it's pretty much just following the instructions here, and yeah, let's just get right into it. So we installed pgadmin in the beginning of the book. Alright, so let's just get right into it. So let's open pgadmin. Well, I have it here. So we installed this one in the beginning of the book when we were doing the setup. So just open pgadmin and then we'll continue from there. So this is taking a minute. Alright, so then we have to put our password, the one that we used when we so when you install this app, then it tells you to set a password, so that one you have to use. So we'll go to servers. I already have like a bunch of servers here. Oh yes, so and if you want to access any of those servers, you need to put the password for like that server. Yeah, I don't remember all those. So just go to PostgreSQL, and as you can see here, I have a bunch of databases. This is the one that we're using, the example one. That's the one that we've been using through the whole book. So just click on that one, and then again you'll be alright. So let's see. Yeah, so enter the server's password. That's what we did, and then which was so that's example. That was the one that we created right in the beginning. And then I'll show you here. So I'm showing you here like all the steps that you have to follow. Go to example, and then yeah, so let's just do what it says there. And this is just a way of checking if all the data that we've been saving has been stored here in the database. So this is where the servers are. So like if you go to example, and let's just see if the data that we've been working with has been saved in the database. So we go to example here, then we go to tables, and you should be able to see go to tables, and then you should be able to see the listings, and then view, edit the data. So then just right click or control click if you're using a Mac, and then go to view, edit data, and see all rows. So here you should be able to see all the data that has been stored about the listings. So let me just make this a little bit bigger. Just expand this like that. So right now we just have one listing which has an ID of 3. This is the name, the title, condition, and then you can see here all of the fields in a table displayed in this table. So you know you have everything here. So if you had more listings, or if I had more listings, they would show here. Alright, so let's keep moving on. So yeah, so this is just an explanation of what I was saying. So when we move to a live server, so we're not gonna take the data with us. So we're not gonna migrate the database. We're just gonna start with a clean slate. So we don't have a considerable amount of data, so we don't really care too much. So we'll just start with a new one. Alright, so now let's do the Amazon RDS setup. So go to AWS. Alright, if you don't have an account, just create an account, and it's gonna ask you for a credit card. And you should, so if you have one, then just enter that one. It's not gonna charge you unless you go over the free tier limits, and even then it lets you know like, oh, you're gonna go over the limits you know, on this date or something like that. So just keep watching your email, so in case you use it a lot and then go over the limits. So if you already have an account, then you can just sign in. So I already have an account, so I'll just sign in here. And here you can see all the services, so you can click on this drop down menu, or you can just search by service here. So then click on RDS, which is the one that we're gonna use, and we're just following the steps here. So the next step would be to create the database. So let's wait for this, and you have it right here. So just create the database, go to standard create. It's already selected by default. And then you'll go to engine options and then choose the one that you're using. We're not using MySQL, we're using PostgreSQL, so we'll select that one. So you automatically get here a version, and try, so if you get here one of the versions and that version doesn't show you the free tier, just go back and just go back to a previous version. Let's say this one. It's still the same thing, so let's just keep going back until we have one that offers the free tier so that we can use. In this case, I think 12.8 has the free tier. Just have to give it a second here. Yes. So then once you have this, select this one, the free tier one. And here in the book I'm using Database.to because at that time I already had one, but in this case I have deleted all the databases that I had, so I don't have any. So let's just follow, so you can use database 1 for this one, so don't touch that one. For master username, we'll just type example, and for the password we can just use password 12345, the same one that's showing here. And after you do that, let's scroll down, select let's see if there is something else here. So you got settings. So after you put the password, then you get the DB instance class. You just keep it as it is, so don't change anything here in this too. And yeah, so I don't even mention them here. I just say keep whatever it is as the default, and just keep that as it is. Go to connectivity, and then for public access, click on yes, and scroll down. Just make sure that's the same way as it's here on the right. Then we scroll down, and additional configuration, you need to have 5432. Yeah, so this is fine. Just use so then you go to additional configuration, and then you'll type here example 1, and this is fine, just don't touch that. Then just go all the way down to the creation, to the last part. So once you get to the last part, then so this is the free tier, and then it tells you what are the limits and all of that. If you're okay with this, then just click on create database. Alright, so after you click on create database, you'll see here this loading part, and then just wait for it. So this would take at least 5 minutes, I think, or less than 5 minutes. So you have the status as creating here. So let's just wait for it until you get this click message that's on the right. So after the database has been created, you can just click on the database to see more information about that database. Scroll down, see this endpoint, copy this endpoint. Now go back to pgadmin and go to servers. So you can just close, or you can just minimize that. Go to servers, right click or control click if you're using a Mac, create, and then server. Alright, and then here you can just put like example AWS. Go to connection. Here for the host, you can paste the endpoint that you copied from the AWS website. And here username, you put example, and then the password was password 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The same here on the right. As you can see, we're using the same credentials. And then we can just click on save. So after you have done that, you should see the server here on the left. Open it. It's gonna ask you for the password. Oh well, that's not the one. That's a different one. So go to example one. Go to databases. Example AWS databases. Example one. Go here and then go to tables. You should see nothing here. So there's really nothing. This is the one that we opened before. So let's see if we can close this. So if you click here, you don't see anything. So this is the path that I was telling you to follow. It's the same thing. So you shouldn't see anything because we don't have any data, but we're gonna create some, and then we'll come back here and we should see like the listing created here. So now let's go back to our to Visual Studio. Let's go to settings.py. Let me just close this. So go to example settings.py. Go to the databases part. Where is it? Here. And we're gonna change all of these now because we're using the live server now. So for example, we'll use example 1 for the user. We set it to be example, and the password we can just have 4 and 5, and then the host we'll just paste the endpoint as well here. So let's save this and let's run this. Well, before we run the server, let's issue these commands. Python manage.py migrate. Alright, the migration has been done correctly, and now we can just run the server. Let's go to listings, and we'll see nothing. So this is good because we had a listing here, but we don't have it anymore because we're using the live server now. So we're gonna create a super user. We already did it, but we have to do it again because it's a new server. So let's go back to our project and let's create the super user so that we can start creating some listings. So issue the command create super user. So we're gonna use admin again, admin@gmail.com, and then the password is just gonna be password 123. Password 123. Yes. After we have created the super user, then we can just run the server again. And now we'll go back to, this time we'll go to the admin panel so that we can create some listings. You can also do it through the website, but let's I think it's just faster to do through the admin panel for now. Once you're in the admin panel, go to listings, add, and just create like a listing here. So it doesn't. So for the sake of time, we're just gonna put whatever here. The contact email. So after you create the listing, you should see it here. And if you want to edit it, you can just click on it and then edit it. And now we'll just log out and go back to the main page. So go to listings and you should see the listing there. So let's see the listing, and you can see all the details about the listing. So now if we go back to pgadmin 4, so we didn't have anything here. So now if we refresh, we can just click on let's just do the same thing now. Oh, I think you have to do right click and then refresh. Yes. So now you see that it becomes like a drop down menu here. and you'll see all the data that we migrated. Go to listings. Once you go to listings, you will be able, so you go to listings and then just right click here, go to view, edit data, all rows, and here you should see the listing that we just created. So Santa Cruz, used, bike, available for shipping, and all the data that we enter when creating the this listing. Yeah, so this is just what we just did. And yeah, that's all for this chapter. We have successfully created our live server. It's being hosted on AWS. We have the quiz, the chat, yeah, the quiz, and you have the answer sheet here. So for the next chapter, we'll be covering Amazon S3 buckets, which will help us host our static files. Thank you.